This morning, part of I-75 South is closed in Harrison Township due to a deadly crash. At least one person is dead and the road is closed for miles.
Now, it happened near Timber Lane. Crews are diverting traffic here near the Needmore Road exit. Melena Brown is out there live this morning with details. Melena, what do we know at this hour?
Right, so as you all just mentioned, there has been a confirmed death this morning. I called Montgomery County Dispatch right before heading out here, and they did confirm that one person died. As I was driving up, obviously I-75 South completely empty until we got up until this point. As you can see behind me, a lot of sheriffs on scene. The accident, I do believe, happened a little bit further down. They do have the ramp blocked off with an officer, and when we drove further down the highway to see what was going on, there were about 3 vehicles that looked like they had been in an accident. There were officers down there taking pictures of the scene. So that's what we know right now as we're on scene. Again, this happened earlier this morning. We know from Needmore they are diverting traffic off the highway. So if you're planning on heading out anytime soon or within the next few hours, you're headed to your job this morning, you have a commute, and you need to go past Needmore on I-75 South, I would suggest finding an alternate route at this time. Again, it is early, so we're going to stay out here and see what happens. Also trying to speak with any one of the officers on scene to see if they can give us any information on how this accident happened this morning. But for right now, all we know is that the highway is closed. You need to find another route, and that one person unfortunately did die this morning. Back to you.
We will continue to bring you updates from the Breaking News Center all morning long. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download our Dayton 24/7 Now app in the Google Play and Apple App Stores.
Good morning. Taking a look at temperatures, boy, we're all over the place. We've got 40s, we've got mid-30s, we've got, just a wild swing of temperatures considering Middletown, Urbana, and Troy are at 34. Dayton itself is at 41, and mind you, that's actually dropped about 5 or 6 degrees over the last 20-30 minutes maybe, and then 45 in Wilmington. So it really does run the gamut. Today, I think it all depends on cloud cover, but we should be low 40s, mid 40s, somewhere in that ballpark. By the time we get into the afternoon, highs will eventually get into the upper 60s. We'll call it a mild day. Just a reminder, we're on social media. Go follow us, do that whole thing. And yeah, please and thank you. And again, if you are traveling this morning, the biggest issue is over by Needmore, I-75 South. The good news is so far everything else seems to be okay. But again, that is a major ordeal here as we get into the 5 a.m. hour. Hopefully we could get that cleared, at least the investigation, and get the highway open, because that could cause a major delay, especially as we get later in the morning.
This community, a community full of life and energy, is now forever changed. Since the shooting, we spent time with residents in the neighborhood, the city manager and I and the chief yesterday and today, and the overwhelming message that we have heard is one of unimaginable trauma.
Powerful words from Cincinnati Mayor Off
In volleyball and basketball courts. It also includes a wellness center where you can get physical therapy, ultrasounds, and more. If you missed out on the tour, don't worry. 2 more rounds are happening November 18th and December 2nd. We got details on our website, Dayton247now.com. And the Premier Health YMCA will open in about a month, and the wellness center is scheduled to be complete by the new year.
Dayton Public Schools is searching for its next superintendent. Tonight you can head out to a community meeting to give your input about what you expect in a new leader. That's at River's Edge Montessori starting at 5:30. If you can't make it tonight, don't worry. The school is hosting another meeting via Zoom next Wednesday the 15th. That's also at 5:30. The district plans on posting a survey on its social media accounts to get even more feedback. The search will run through March or April next year. The goal is to have a new superintendent start on July 1st.
Lieutenant Governor John Husted will be at the Dayton International Airport today. He's helping unveil a new training facility for Dayton's aviation workers. Sinclair Community College just built a new cutting-edge aviation maintenance training facility at the airport. It's a milestone for the college's commitment to aerospace education and workforce development. The grand opening is at 10 this morning.
Looking now over the Queen City, Damar Hamlin honoring the crew at Paycor Stadium who saved his life. The Buffalo Bills player announced his Chasing M's Foundation is setting up a new scholarship program for kids in Cincinnati underserved communities. 10 kids will get $1,000 each for the next 3 years. Each of the individual scholarships will be named after the 10 UC Medical Center staff members who treated Hamlin when he collapsed on the Bengals field in January and was brought back to life. Hamlin posted this picture on X yesterday saying, last night I had dinner with my heroes, 10 of the UC medical staff that helped save my life, end quote. He says he wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
Hey, and your Bengals won last night.
Yeah.
How about that?
So proud of them.
Brownies shut out the Cardinals. I'm in a good mood today. Our time right now is 5:10. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Crypto crackdown. I'm Dee Dee Gatton in Washington. After Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud conviction, we hear from experts on how this could impact regulation of the industry.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. We haven't really seen too much of a temperature swing here over the last couple of days, last 24 hours. But what we have continued to see is temperatures being anywhere from the mid-30s to the low 40s. Again, this is a pretty wild temperature swing considering Middletown and Wilmington are about 11 degrees apart, and Troy and Wilmington are 11 as well. Even Dayton to Troy, 7 degrees. So what we have is, I think, an area of where clouds were versus where it has remained, generally speaking, clear. We all have winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour, so not particularly that breezy, but there is a little bit of a stirring of the air. If you're getting outside today, boy, have you got a great day for that. Will be a little bit more cloudy second half day, but temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Tonight, 50s as we do see anywhere between partly to mostly cloudy conditions. Tomorrow will ditto every part of that, maybe just a little bit more sun, especially second half day, but temperatures maybe just a handful of degrees cooler. We will be up around 70 on Wednesday as a warm front rolls through. That'll be a warmer air mass followed by some cooler temperatures for the weekend as we dip down, actually probably about below average for the first time in a few days as we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Meanwhile, if you're on the roads this morning, here's what you need to know. I-75 South still shut down at Needmore. Of course, they are diverting traffic there. Other than that, we haven't had any types or concerns. Just keep in mind with the diversion, you're probably going to see more traffic over on 49 or on Dixie. Keep that in mind if you use those roads as your normal morning commute. They're likely to be backlogged due to the increased traffic.
After Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud conviction, there's renewed concerns over the volatility of the cryptocurrency industry and how to regulate it.
Didi Gatton sat down with experts on the case and explains more. Didi.
Though the technology is new, the kind of fraud displayed in Sam Bankman-Fried's case is not. Bankman-Fried was found guilty on Thursday for his role in the collapse of crypto exchange FTX. Jurors determined he stole billions of dollars from customers' accounts and defrauded lenders to FTX's sister company. The case brings to light an ongoing debate on whether crypto should be regulated.
This is what we saw exactly with Bernie Madoff. Crypto is here to stay, that we need to learn how to operate with it and not pretend that it doesn't exist because the rest of the world is using it. The U.S. should recognize its presence and figure out the best way to keep Americans safe and secure. And that's not wrapping it in bureaucratic red tape, but it is enforcing the existing consumer protection laws.
The Securities and Exchange Commission urges people to be cautious if thinking about an investment in crypto asset securities. Under the federal securities laws, a company can't offer or sell securities unless it's registered with the SEC or an exemption is available. Reporting for the National Desk, I'm Didi Gatton.
Our time right now is 5:18. Just ahead, Matt Digby breaks down what to expect ahead of the Flyers' first game tonight.
You're watching Your Day.
It is time for Pet of the Day, where we celebrate your pets. And this I like the artistic shop. Caliban was sent in by Travis. Big thank you to Travis for sending in your pet. Today should be, generally speaking, partly to mostly cloudy. What you will notice is as we start getting later and later, it will get more and more cloudy. So eventually it could become, even dare I say, overcast, but that would be about right when the sun sets. So we may not see as much. Maybe we'll be left with a beautiful sunset. We'll see about that. One thing that I know for certain, we will be quite mild today. Temperatures will be the upper 60s. So no, it's not 80 degrees, but still upper 60s is plentiful warm. You can open up the windows, especially considering how mild the overnights have been. Obviously, you're probably not opening up excuse me, the windows all the way, but still, you could get away with it. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, hey, I'm going to suffer through it. You can too. We are looking at I-75 shutdown in Needmore. We will continue to track that throughout the morning.
YouTube is implementing new safeguards that could help prevent the platform from sending teen users to potentially harmful content. The platform plans to limit repeated content recommendations for videos on certain topics. One of those is content that idealizes certain body weight. Now, the change came out of work with YouTube's advisory board on third-party youth wellness experts. Well, a new meta-study of 12 other studies brings clarity to confusion regarding the most beneficial numbers of steps one should walk each day. The study indicates that benefits begin with as few as 2,500 daily steps and then go up from there. For the optimal reduction in all-cause mortality and cardiovascular risk, however, they do recommend a person should walk around 9,000 and 7,000 steps daily. Well, putting up Christmas decorations early leads to increased happiness. A new study from Britain says people who decorate earlier are simply tapping into the excitement of the season before the rest of us, which makes them happier. Also, the bright lights and colors of Christmas trigger happy feelings. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
Good morning. I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. Just a few hours to go now until the official return of college basketball. Regular season games start tonight, including the season opener for the University of Dayton men. The Flyers will face an opponent from the Ohio Valley Conference in SIU Edwardsville. This year's UD squad with a mix of returning players, including Deron Holmes II, but there are also many new faces, both true freshmen and those who transferred from other Division I schools. And for those in their first year with the Flyers, it's been a smooth transition getting to know their new teammates. They believe that will help the team not just tonight, but throughout the season.
With all the time that we spent, in Europe and even off the court, in the dorms or just with each other, the returning guys and the new guys, we just kind of click well together. So I think you can see that on the court, and everybody likes being with each other.
Going to Europe in the summer really helped us mesh together. Us being able to play together, share experiences is going to be one of the reasons why this team is really good with team chemistry and stuff like that.
So SIU Edwardsville tonight, and then the Flyers will have a second game later this week when they go to Chicago on Friday night to face the Northwestern Wildcats. That's a look at sports. I'm Matt Digby.
18 area high school football teams reaching the regional semifinals of the OHSAA playoffs. The matchup locations were announced yesterday. 6 of those games will be at locations in the Miami Valley. Among the matchups, Centerville is the site for the rematch between Waynesville and Brookville. Ansonia and St. Henry are both headed to Piqua, and Welcome Stadium will host Division II matchup between Troy and Withrow. Unless there are changes announced in the coming days, everybody will play on Friday night. We have the full schedule for area teams on our website, Dayton247now.com.
And big news Saturday from the Cincinnati Reds. The team parting ways with longtime first baseman Joey Votto after 17 years. Votto had an option on his contract for 2024 worth $20 million that the Reds declined. So Votto will receive a $7 million buyout and will become a free agent. The 40-year-old appeared in 65 games this season, batting .202 with 14 home runs. General manager Nick Kroll says they're thankful for Votto's contributions to the franchise. And he has been, I don't know. I mean, it's like throughout my lifetime, you've had just like 2 players pretty much that have dominated the Reds. It's been Barry Larkin and Joey Votto.
Yeah, a lot of Reds fans really upset about the news.
As well, I think
They could be, should be. You know, as a Mets fan, I've seen star players go off. Jose Reyes, which was one of my favorite players growing up, famously just left the Mets because they wouldn't pay him. And it just feels like Votto still had maybe one more year and deserved it.
Yeah, well, you know, he's going to go make his bag somewhere else, and he'll do just fine, and he has a place in the Reds Hall of Fame whenever he wants.
Yeah, that's very true.
Our time right now is 5:26, still to come.
We're following a fatal accident on I-75 South. We're going to bring you the information we know coming up next.
A park destroyed in the 2019 Memorial Day tornadoes now getting some new roofs. Just ahead, Abby Forbes shares the inspirational story behind these new trees. This morning, we're following breaking news. Part of I-75 South is closed in Harrison Township due to a deadly crash. At least one person is dead, and the road is closed for miles.
It happened near Timber Lane. Crews are diverting traffic there near Needmore Road exit. Melina Brown is out there live now with details. Melina, what do we know so far?
So, Nathan, I did confirm with Montgomery County Dispatch just earlier that, in fact, one person did die. As you can see behind me, there are still officers on scene. In fact, 2 sheriffs, and it looks like some other truck. And then down further down the highway where we can't really quite get in right now, there are more officers. I also know from the last time that I was on air that the coroner did arrive on scene just around 5 a.m. So this still is an active scene. They're taking pictures. When I drove down further down the road, there were multiple cars that looked like they could have been involved in some sort of accident, but we are still working to confirm what exactly happened here this morning that led to this death. We haven't been able to speak with an officer. Again, very active scene. They're still working hard to get this cleared up. So once we're able to, we're going to speak with them and see what exactly happened here this morning. Again, right now, traffic is still being diverted off Needmore Avenue. So if you're about to head out or you're heading out this morning for your commute, at this time, I would try to find an alternative route. It's not sure how long right now 75 South is going to be closed, but because there was a death, we could imagine it could be quite some time before they're able to get this opened back up.
We will continue to bring you updates from the Breaking News Center all morning long. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download our Dayton 24/7 Now app in the Google Play and Apple App Stores.
Good morning. We are looking at, Caliban again. Let me re-rack here. Unfortunately, our system decided to take a step back. 31 right now in Xenia. Boy, that is cool. 14-degree temperature difference between Wilmington and Xenia. It is 9 degrees between Middletown and Lebanon. Basically, I think we saw some clouds moving through overnight, and those clouds really kind of kept temperatures from falling too much in spots. And where we did start to get any type of clearing, that is where we did actually get a little bit more, let's say, a little bit more of a temperature drop. Now, I'll put the clouds back on. This may not be perfect, but it does show you that a lot of the area has started to either see less cloud cover or maybe has completely cleared out. If you are going to put the kids on the bus, again, anywhere between mostly, partly, even mostly clear. So you are talking about one of those mornings where a good range of clouds across the area. The only reason I bring that up is, again, it does have an outsized influence on temperature, especially right about now as we hit those morning lows. In terms of today, just a reminder, we are on Facebook. There you can find your latest weather forecast. I have just posted that today, so go there, check that out, and of course we'll let you know on the ongoing traffic situation. Now, here's a look from the top of our traffic cam. Again, you heard Melina talk about traffic being diverted onto Needmore. One thing that I'd like to point out is that backup now extends back towards Benchwood, but we are talking about it's only 5:32 in the morning, meaning that once we get into the 6s and 7s, if this is still shut down, this could be a big backup and end up backing things up to 70. So even if you are traveling 70 eastbound towards 75, please keep in mind that this could cause issues for your morning commute as well. So again, we are tracking all of this this morning.
The war in the Middle East rages on as the numbers of casualties keeps rising. Local hospitals officials report dozens of deaths in a Gaza Strip refugee camp over the weekend. Now the United States is advocating for humanitarian pauses in the war to allow aid to enter the ravaged areas. The Palestinian Ministry of Health says Israeli attacks on Gaza killed more than 9,700 people in the past few weeks. Just yesterday, the Israeli military said its soldiers are now expanding ground operations to locations along the Gaza coast. This video shows some of the explosions and flares in the Gaza Strip as of yesterday. The Israeli military began a large-scale airstrike in the area, targeting Hamas militants and senior commanders.
This is not the outcome that we had hoped for, that we had prayed for, but we knew going in that this was a very grim and very difficult situation.
After days of searching, crews finally found the bodies of 2 workers trapped in a collapsed building in Kentucky. Here's video from the scene. More than 10-story building at the Martin Mine Prep plant collapsed last Tuesday. Crews found the bodies over the weekend. Martin County Sheriff John Kirk says the building hasn't been used for years and the 2 men were salvaging material when it collapsed.
A park destroyed in the 2019 Memorial Day tornadoes now getting some new routes. Abby Forbes spoke with Harrison Township leaders and shares details on the new Operation 2000 Cherry Tree project.
Township and project leaders are partnering to plant 10 cherry trees at Sinclair Park. People of all ages gathered Sunday afternoon and got to work. This park was heavily damaged by the Memorial Day tornadoes in 2019. They lost a lot of trees and are still working to fix up the area years later. The township is excited to bring new life to the area through this new project.
It actually took us 2 or 3 days to get here following the impact of those tornadoes, and that was kind of like the first thing that was actually said was that we'll have to rebuild the park and things of this nature.
Not only do the trees planted help bring life to the park, but they also help the Operation Cherry Tree project keep moving forward. If you're interested in donating your time or money to help with the Operation 2000 Cherry Tree project, you can find more information on our website at Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
The nationwide shortage of milk cartons hitting the dairy industry hard and leaving schools across the country scrambling for alternatives. USDA federal guidelines considers the shortage a temporary emergency. Schools are now allowed to be more flexible in how they dispense milk. For example, several New York school District cafeterias are giving each student individual cups of milk. In Wisconsin, some schools are dealing out plastic pouches outside of schools. This could affect milk and juice served in nursing homes and prisons.
Pizza lovers, get ready. Cincinnati Pizza Week starts today. Participating restaurants are offering $10 pizzas now through Sunday. It includes favorites like Goodfellas, Strong's Brick Oven, and Mikey's Late Night Slice, just to name a few. You can download the official Pizza Week app from your app store for a chance to win prizes, including $300 in gift cards.
An Ethiopian man just set a new record in the New York City Marathon. Tamarat Tola crossed the finish line in just 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 58 seconds.
He wins the 52nd.
Now Tola blew through the competition. It's a personal best for the runner, who hasn't finished above 4th place in his previous 3 appearances in New York. In the women's race, Helen Obiri won 1st place by finishing in 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 23 seconds. I'll take Pizza Week instead.
Couldn't be me. Right there with you. Yeah. Our time right now is 5:37. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
A dog having a big impact on a Cincinnati police station. Just ahead, the new member of the police force that won't be chasing criminals.
You're watching
Time to do some weather yet again. We have that system across the Great Lakes with rain and actually snow right now in Canada, Winnipeg area, as well as I believe that's north central North Dakota, Devil's Lake area, if you're familiar. And if you're not, well, just know it's cold. Another system also across the west coast. What's interesting is we will have kind of a double barrel style system, meaning we'll get one wave as we get into the mid stages of this week and another wave later on. Now, in amidst the clouds today, in theory, we could get one of those little areas of a sprinkle after sunset. I would not plan around seeing it, but again, in theory, that is possible. Meanwhile, for Tuesday morning, we'll start out in the mid-50s. We should be able to get upper 60s, if not around 70 across the southern part of our area. But for Dayton itself, it'll probably be mid-60s. Tuesday, notice how everything starts to flow from the south. That's the warm front. Along that warm front, likely to be some lighter rain. That for early Wednesday. On the backside of this, Thursday will turn sharply colder due to a cold front. So you get one round of rain due to a warm front on Wednesday and another one on Thursday due to a cold front.
A heartwarming story coming from Greene Township Police Department, a new member to the police force who won't be chasing criminals.
Chelsea Sick from our sister station Cincinnati caught up with officers and saw the big impact Raina is having on their lives.
When you walk into the Greene Township Police Department, this is what you see. Canine Raina making a beeline to greet you.
It just changes the morale in that she greets you at the door. She's always happy to see you. And in our line of work, that's a refreshing change of pace sometimes.
Sit. Give me a ball. Good girl.
Her handler, Lieutenant Dean Dorfline, says Raina isn't your typical police canine.
It's always been that be careful, don't get bit. He's a drug sniffer. He's a tracking dog. It's very different now with her.
Because her job is different. Raina is an emotional support dog, not just for police officers, but also for township employees and crime victims.
You'll be sitting at a computer and she will come up and either lay her head on your lap or just bump you and gives you that few minutes of breaking free and just taking a minute, putting a smile on your face.
The township adopted Raina in the spring, right before Springfield Township police officer Tim Unwin died in the line of duty. That loss hit this neighboring PD really hard.
Obviously, we had officers very upset, but she was completely fantastic as far as breaking down barriers and allowing them to kind of open up and show some emotion.
She's been an asset ever since, and she officially finished her emotional support dog training last week.
We do unfortunately see a lot of things that a lot of people don't see in their line of work. And we'll come back to the station, we'll have a debriefing, we'll have to type up the reports, and she can actually sense when we're under stress or anxiety, and she'll come and sit by us.
You want to go outside and play? Come on, let's go.
The whole goal, to make sure these officers are prioritizing their mental health while taking care of others.
It's a completely different environment and morale.
Chelsea Sick, Local 12 News.
Can we get one at work? Like we need one at
Don't
work.
just have that effect on people.
What, a dog? Or should we get an emotional support cat? Maybe a ferret?
Emotional support ferret.
Maybe.
Like
Just see us holding a ferret during the show.
An emotional support cockatoo.
Ooh, I mean, they have emotional support, all sorts of animals. Gator. Remember the guy with the gator?
Yeah.
Not doing a gator. Let's just skunk.
A skunk, a stinky kitty.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, all right. Like, why not get an emotional support raccoon? Like, you got plenty of.
I'm cool with a raccoon.
I got a couple in my trash can at home, so we're okay.
Oh, there you go.
Trash pandas. That's
Yeah.
where it's at.
Like, see, this is the thing that we need, bosses, is emotional support animals just running around. We need Noah's Ark in this place.
We need a zoo up in here.
We need a lot of emotional support. Our time right now is 5:44. Tyson recalling around 30,000 pounds of dino nugs. What? Just ahead, why they're being pulled from shelves and how to figure out if you're affected.
You're watching Your Day.
Auto Matters is sponsored by Chevrolet of Troy.
Today, I pop your hood and look at fluids. Now, this can be a bit overwhelming, but most of these are clearly marked. This is brake fluid, and it should be filled to the line. Radiator fluid is checked here. Again, fill it to the line. Then power steering, engine oil, and transmission fluid are checked with dipsticks. Simply remove it, wipe it clean, reinsert it, and then pull it out and check the level. Top off any fluids that are low, and remember that if you need to add them often, there may be a leak. Last one, windshield washer fluid, or as my son calls it, bug juice. You're like me, right? Always running out of it at the worst possible moment. But these are easy things to do, and you can do it yourself, especially with help from our car care pros here in town.
Hi, I'm Jacob, owner of Chevrolet of Troy, and I'd like to invite you to our dealership where you get more. That's more selection, more savings, and more value. Visit us online at ChevroletTroy.com.
Christmas is just stop getting sued. Mariah Carey facing yet another lawsuit from country singer Andy Stone over her 1994 holiday hit, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Stone says he put out the hit in 1989 with Vance and the Valiants. That version became a hit in 1993. Stone previously sued in 2022 but withdrew the suit. It alleges Carey and her co-writer copied Stone's version.
He's just jealous.
I don't even know what to say to this. Like, I do like the idea that Mariah Carey just shows up once a year in our lives. It's like, hi, you still remember me? Yep, okay, let's do this Christmas
Mariah
thing.
Carey is Mrs. Claus, and she just came up with that song on her own just at the workshop. Right?
Her and her little elves.
That's right.
It's just, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like, I don't know.
I love that song.
I do,
can I throw it out? I don't.
You guys.
I'm actually not the biggest fan of Mariah Carey, so
I don't like.
she kind of annoys me.
Oh, tell me about it. Go on. You got anything else?
We don't. I don't need to go on a rant.
All I will say is during the next commercial break, you know what song is getting played.
Good, because I'm going out to the patio.
you're
I don't have to
I'll
hear
still
it.
jam out to it.
Let's go over to the weather wall where I am prepping to have my ears stuffed with cotton. This way I don't have to hear the song for the umpteenth time already. By the way, does anybody play the Wham game here? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like you'd play that with Mariah Carey and just lose instantaneously once it hits like Thanksgiving. And for those that don't know, the Wham game is where you hear the song Wham and you got whammed. All right. Let's talk weather, shall we? Here's what we're looking at. Cloudy skies still continue across portions of the area. Have had somewhat of a break. That's allowed temperatures to drop. At one point, I watched as temperatures were falling, and then rose up 2 or 3 degrees. That's prevented us from dropping into the 30s here in Dayton. Dayton itself right now, not looking too shabby. We are going to see these temperatures rise into the upper 60s. Expect maybe not necessarily a sunshine-filled day, but a pocket here, a pocket there, maybe early on this morning, perhaps afternoon and evening. We'll call it partly cloudy, but there will likely be some periods where it does become overcast. Then for overnight tonight, we'll drop down into the mid-50s. Again, same goes. We'll have some pockets where maybe you get a couple of views of stars, but other periods where it is almost a direct overcast. Tomorrow, a little bit more sunshine, but we are talking about temperatures just off of today's highs by only a few degrees. We'll be warmer on Wednesday. Warm front will cause a couple of showers in the morning. Thursday, more showers as the cold front swings its way through. So we are going to see much cooler temperatures for the weekend. Keep that in mind as you plan out. It is going to be a revert back to late fall. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, biggest issue, I-75 south near Needmore. Now, one thing that we have been tracking is not just this incident. Again, this is a fatal crash. A pedestrian was killed. We're still working on information, but they are diverting traffic at Needmore, which is, again, 2 exits off of the interstate. So we are watching I-70 to see if the backup hits that point. Again, as we get later in the morning commute, these effects will become more pronounced. So optimistically, if they could get the crash cleared, get the information out, we may not have much of a delay, but still, right for now, it does look like a significant delay, I-75 south.
It may be time to check your freezer. Tyson Foods is recalling about 30,000 pounds of chicken nuggets. Saturday, the company said it was voluntarily pooling the nuggets after some people reported finding small pieces of metal inside the patties. Specifically, the recall is for the 29-ounce plastic bag packages containing frozen but fully cooked breaded nuggets that are shaped like dinosaurs. The packaging includes a best used by date of September 4th, 2024. The USDA says there's been one minor oral injury associated with consumption of the nuggets.
The U.S. economy adding 150,000 jobs in October. That was below expectations, but still a solid month of employment growth. Now, October's job growth came in below September's stronger than expected total of 297,000 jobs. The unemployment rate rose 1/10 of a percentage point last month to 3.9%. Federal Reserve officials are hoping for more of a slowdown in order to help with inflation.
Our time right now is 5:52. You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Good morning and welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where it's not that bad outside. It's jacket weather, but it could be a whole lot worse. Not too much of a wind around, but there is a little steady breeze. Temperatures run the gamut between the 40s and the 30s. I'd be interested to see here when these update to see how they have all changed, because we have noticed now a corridor between Troy, Urbana that is now in the 30s, this compared to the low 40s elsewhere, and a lot of it depends on the cloud cover. And speaking of, it does look like still some clouds here in Miamisburg, so it does vary location to location, and I think it's going to vary time to time. So today we're calling it partly cloudy. Again this morning, probably some clouds, and where those clouds are, those temperatures are a few degrees warmer. We're pointing out while there's not a significant breeze right now, we do expect the winds to pick up during the second half of the day.
Well, Taylor Swift has outdone herself yet again. Taking a live look at her website right now. Her newest re-recording, 1989's Taylor's version, has outsold the original. That's crazy. The new album tops the Billboard 200 with her best first week tally for an album ever. Billboard says it's the biggest first week for any album since Adele's 25, nearly 8 years ago.
It was a 2-for-1 for NASA's Lucy spacecraft as it conducted its very first asteroid flyby earlier this week. The spacecraft flew by a small asteroid called Dinkinesh Wednesday, and scientists discovered the asteroid isn't just one rock but a binary pair. It's in our solar system's main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The team on Earth will continue collecting data. Lucy's main goal is to explore Jupiter's Trojan asteroid swarms, which have never been explored, but Lucy won't reach those asteroids until 2027.
Oh man, asteroids. Yeah, space. Wow. All I think of every time.
Wow, that was really great there,
well,
Nathan.
Let me just put it up. Let me just say something. Every time one of these stories comes up, I just can't help but think about Armageddon. Like every time. Like, let's send Bruce Willis into space.
Yeah, with what was it? Affleck? Ben Affleck?
Affleck.
Yeah. Liz Taylor? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we got a lot more coming up on Your Day at 6 a.m.
We're following a fatal accident on I-75 South. We're going to tell you what we know coming up next.
A shooting in Cincinnati Friday night, leaving the community heartbroken. Just ahead, Luke Jones shows us how West End is coming together during this hard time.
You're watching Your Day.
This morning, part of I-75 South is closed in Harrison Township due to a deadly crash. At least one person is dead and the road is closed for a mile, although they are beginning to reopen that.
Yes, and it happened here and near Timber Lane. Crews are diverting traffic there near Needmore Road exit. Melina Brown's out there live now with details. Melina, what do we know so far?
So right now we do know that Montgomery County Dispatch confirmed with me that one person did die this morning from an accident, but at this time the road is back open. They're no longer diverting traffic, but it does look like there's some sort of slowdown right now. Just earlier there were so many sheriffs on scene. We do know the coroner came out shortly after 5 a.m. It was an active scene. They had the roads blocked off. They had the coroner out here taking pictures, but it seems as though they have that cleared up. But right now what's really important to remind folks at home that are watching is there have been so many accidents right in this area just in the past few weeks to months. If you've watched, we've been out here numerous times. If you can see behind me, it does say work zone. This part of 75 is clearly an active construction zone. There's always a lot going on, and unfortunately there happens to be a lot of accidents. So if you're heading out, it's really important to stay off your phone. We know that the law is now in place. You shouldn't be on your phone. Pay attention to what's going on in front of you, especially as the construction is going, because we don't want any more accidents out here today or any days moving forward. So just keep that in mind as you head out on the roads this morning. But as for now, the road is back open, so if you have to head on 75 for your commute, it is open. Back to you.
Thank you, Melina. And we will continue to bring you updates from the Breaking News Center all morning long. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download our Dayton 24/7 Now app in the Google Play and Apple App Stores.
We are looking at temperatures right now, 30s and 40s. Just a reminder that if you are stepping outside, it is plenty cool out there. You want to make sure those kids are bundled up as they head off to the school bus. But for some of them, they're probably ditching the jackets, if not full going even a heavy jacket, because by the time you get into the afternoon, it's going to be in the 60s, maybe even approaching 70 degrees. So a very much so mild day. Of course, just a reminder, we did set the clocks back, so we do see that sunshine a little bit earlier in the morning, and it's going to be pretty nice for the first real full day here as we have entered, what's it, standard time? Standard time? Yeah, something like that. All right, as for this morning, if you are traveling on I-75 South, we are tracking that ongoing issue there. You see traffic moving, but down to what looks like one lane, or perhaps maybe being able to zipper merge into that one lane. Do have one more incident on the northwest side over at Taywood Road at Wenger Road. Other than that, again, the biggest issue, I-75 South, still traffic going to be backlogged here for at least a little bit.
This community, a community full of life and energy, is now forever changed. Since the shooting, we spent time with residents in the neighborhood, the city manager and I and the chief yesterday and today, and the overwhelming message that we have heard is one of unimaginable trauma.
Powerful words from Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Pureval. Here's a live look over the city right now. An 11-year-old boy is now dead after a shooting in Weston Friday night. 4 other kids are now recovering, ages 12 to 15, as well as a 53-year-old woman. One person is still in the hospital but expected to be okay. Police say the shooter drove a dark-colored sedan and fired 22 rounds into a crowd of kids. The victim's father wants people to step up.
When would it stop? Would this ever stop? Like, how many people have to bury their kids, their babies, their loved ones? I mean, you're not gonna realize it until someone happened to your family, until it happens to you. I'm just asking anybody that know anything to come forward, please.
2 of the injured children, including the boy who was killed, went to Cincinnati College Prep Academy. The others went to Hayesport Elementary and Taft High School. The West End is considered the Queen City's most shooting-prone neighborhood.
Now we're hearing how city leaders plan to deal with crime. Luke Jones shares details.
Friday's mass shooting continues to shock the city's conscience.
22 rounds in a moment.
But it's only the latest in a series of tragedies. So far this year, the West End had at least 29 shootings. That's more than any other Cincinnati neighborhood. Most seem to be concentrated along Lynn Street. The West End also led the city in shootings for the last 4 years.
Obviously, the West End is our priority, and obviously, it is our priority to stop the violence.
In light of Friday's shooting, the city says it's approved overtime for more police officers. They'll be keeping visible while others work undercover.
That will include uniform presence as well as non-uniform presence. We have cameras. We watch the cameras.
Anti-violence activists say it's a start, but they're urging city leaders to go beyond cameras and police patrols.
We don't want to patrol just looking for problems. Patrol and get out and talk to those youth. If you're going to patrol and build a relationship.
Pastor Peter Mingo says if you really want to prevent shootings, the work starts years before they happen.
This stuff just don't happen out of nowhere. It started somehow. And so we're trying to get to the root of the problem by dealing with the parents.
While city leaders concede the West End is a hotspot for violence, they insist it's getting better. We looked at the numbers, and shootings are trending down from 2020.
The strategies that we employ to interrupt the violence has worked and continues to work.
Cincinnati's Pivot Task Force will meet on Wednesday to discuss more ways to address violence. Cincinnati Police provides free gun locks at its headquarters. The city says grief counselors will be at the 3 schools the victims attended tomorrow.
This morning, police in Xenia looking for an armed robbery suspect that sent one person to the hospital. It happened Saturday night at a home on Lexington Avenue. Police say 2 men broke into the house just after 10. The homeowner says he confronted them. That's when police say the intruder shot him. He told police the men stole some items before running away. Now Xenia police are still looking for suspects. Officers say the victim describes the suspects as 2 black men, each 5'10". One wore a blue Nike jumpsuit. The other had on a black hoodie and dark pants. If you know any information about the shooting or where suspects could be, call Xenia police. You can call the criminal investigation section or the tip line. Both numbers are on your screen. And this morning at 9, the murder trial for Deontay Holden is scheduled to begin in Dayton. The 32-year-old is accused of shooting and killing 2 women at a gas station back in February. He faces multiple charges, including murder and felonious assault.
First Financial Bank is kicking off its food drive today. From now until November 17th, you can drop off canned goods at any First Financial office in the Miami Valley during business hours. Those locations are on your screen now. That includes Dayton, Huber Heights, Kettering, and others. This is the 2nd year for the food drive. Last year's drive collected over 7,600 items for people in our communities.
The Miami Valley is about to get its 7th YMCA, and you're invited to take a tour. About 500 people last week got a sneak peek at the new building on Salem Avenue. It features a fitness center, gym, and volleyball and basketball courts. It also includes a wellness center where you can get physical therapy, ultrasounds, and more. If you missed out on the tour, don't worry. 2 more rounds are happening November 18th and December 2nd. We'll have details on our website, Dayton247now.com. The Premier Health YMCA will open up in about a month, and the Wellness Center is scheduled to be complete by the new year.
Dayton Public Schools is searching for its next superintendent. Tonight you can head out to a community meeting to give your input about what you expect in a new leader. That's at Rivers Edge Montessori starting at 5:30. If you can't make it tonight, don't worry. The school is hosting another meeting via Zoom next Wednesday, the 15th. That's also at 5:30. The district plans on posting a survey on its social media accounts to get even more feedback. The search will run through March or April next year. The goal is to have a new superintendent start on July 1st.
Lieutenant Governor John Husted will be at the Dayton International Airport today. He's helping unveil a new training facility for Dayton aviation workers. Sinclair Community College has built a new cutting-edge aviation maintenance training facility at the airport. It's a milestone for the college's commitment to aerospace education and workforce development. The grand opening is at 10 o'clock this morning.
Looking now over the Queen City, Damar Hamlin's honoring the crews at Paycor Stadium who saved his life. The Buffalo Bills player announced his Chasing M's Foundation is setting up a new scholarship program for kids in Cincinnati's underserved communities. 10 kids will get $1,000 each for the next 3 years. Each of the individual scholarships will be named after the 10 UC Medical Center staff members who treated Hamlin when he collapsed on the Bengals field in January and was brought back to life. Hamlin posted this picture on on X yesterday saying, "Last night I had dinner with my heroes, 10 of the UC medical staff that helped save my life," end quote. He says he wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
Our time right now at 6:10. Don't forget your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. We aren't looking at anything heavy duty for today. In fact, you could just see a couple of stray showers up around the Rochester area of Indiana. Meanwhile, I think today is probably going to be more clouds than sun, if we're being fair. We will see the clouds increase during the afternoon and evening. Eventually, we could catch maybe just a light little sprinkled shower or something along those lines. Nothing that's going to be that crazy. For Tuesday, I think we'll get some pockets of sunshine. Despite the sun, it ends up being cooler than today. Wednesday morning, this is probably one of two, maybe not necessarily super soaker style of rain events, but at least some rain is possible. That'll pass through, and by Wednesday afternoon, we should have temperatures up around 70 degrees. So we are talking about another warm day. And again, today, a mix of sun and clouds with temperatures eventually getting into the upper 60s. Just a reminder, if you are on the roads this morning, we are still tracking I-75 southbound over at Needmore. This is an area where we had a crash earlier on this morning. They are blocking what looks like the right lane. And just a word of caution, everybody, you see that truck in the right lane? That did stop, and I watched one person absolutely screech the tires to avoid hitting it. Give yourself some plentiful extra time, especially when you see emergency vehicles, because the last thing we need is another repeat of this morning with a crash on the roads.
Our time right now is 6:14. A long closed 12-story hotel going up for auction just ahead. What's triggering the sale?
You're watching Your Day.
It is time to do some weather here where the sun now rising. Boy, I know I'm going to be biased here, but don't blame me. I do like the idea of changing the clocks back and forth. One, because it does get lighter in the morning during the winter, and I know for some people it's dark so early, but I always think about the kids on the bus. And number two is just gearing up for, let's say, a Saturday, Sunday, and actually being able to awake with some sort of light. That is ideal for me. Now, if you are one of those that don't, hey, I don't begrudge that. Wind speeds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Again, as we get into the light hours, these winds will pick up. Ongoing, a little bit of a breezy day, but then you look at it and you go upper 60s, mix of sun and clouds, maybe more clouds than sun if we're being fair. I could take this. I mean, upper 60s for this time of year. It's not ridiculously hot. It's only about 10 degrees above average, but it is always nice when we do see it. Tonight, 55 degrees. Tomorrow, we should be able to get into the mid 60s, maybe even upper 60s, but it's a return to 70 on Wednesday. So Wednesday seems like the warmest day, despite the fact that we will see some showers early on Wednesday morning. Could see another round of late rain, early Thursday morning. If you are traveling this morning, the biggest issue, I-75 south at Needmore. We did have an earlier fatal crash there. There is still one lane blocked, and I encourage everybody, give yourself plenty of extra time. I saw a car coming in out of that right lane screech the tires really hard to avoid hitting that left signal truck there. So again, give yourself plenty of extra time. That's I-75 south near Needmore. On that one incident at Taywood Road at Awenga Road.
A long closed 12-story hotel near the Dayton Arcade will go to auction. Now, the former Dayton Grand Hotel on South Ludlow Street will start at $650,000 on December 4th at RI Marketplace. This comes after a $39 million project was approved at the site to bring housing, retail, and entertainment venue to the city's core. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com, click on the News tab, and select Dayton Business Journal.
Our time right now is 6:20. Digital producer Max waiting in the wings. Our Facebook poll question coming up next. Go comment.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day here on your day where we celebrate your pets. And today it's Caliban, or Caliban. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but Travis sent in his pet. I do love the artsy shot with the sunset in the horizon. Actually, today, my sneaky suspicion is we could actually get a really nice sunset, considering that we will likely have some clouds out and about. Later on today, it may actually become a true overcast during the second half. Of course, don't forget, we set the sun an hour earlier now after Sunday, so it is going to get darker earlier. We are looking at temperatures going from the 50s into the 60s. So today, by and large, should be a mild afternoon and evening for this time of year standards, where we will be running about 10 degrees above average, maybe even closer to a dozen degrees above average. If you are traveling this morning, again, the biggest issue, I-75 South near Needmore. It is down to 2 lanes there after an earlier crash. Other than that, the interstates are looking okay, but again, give yourself plenty of extra time around that Needmore Road area.
All right, digital producer Max feeling a little bougie this morning.
Absolutely. Nathan, how do you treat yourself?
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Is there any luxury good in your life? You don't have to be a fancy person, just something that you think, man, I don't need this, but I sure do like it.
Okay, I wrote one that I just thought about something else too. So mine has to be, I have a Traeger smoker grill.
I've heard much about it.
Oh my God, it has been a game changer. And yeah, it was really expensive, but let me tell you what, it has saved me so much money because I don't go out to eat nearly as much. But also my other thing is I love Yeti mugs. I do. I mean, it holds the heat so much better than any mug I've ever had in my life. Not a commercial. Alex?
It's hard.
You seem like the bougiest one out of all of us,
I
Alex.
was going to say, everyone in the newsroom is saying Alex. She'll have some things.
I don't know about that. Well, I mean, I get my nails done every 2 weeks, so I would say that's a luxury.
What about the wine club you're a part of?
I'm a part of the Cooper's Hawk Wine Club, and I just got a record player. That's my latest bougie item.
There you
I've
go.
been going out and buying records.
Little throwback.
I have a wine fridge. That should tell you enough. Like I have wines that are like 5 years old that I'm purposely saving for another 5 years.
Fancy.
Max, real quick, what's yours?
Personally, I just got a nice big TV. I need a nice big 4K flat screen.
Oh, 4K, yes.
Love it.
Is that a pixel?
I thought you were going to say your Crocs,
It's driving me
Max.
crazy.
I thought you were going to say your Crocs.
Oh, no, these are thrifted.
Oh.
Most of my outfit's thrifted. What can I say? I love a deal.
I love a good deal, too. Our time right now is 6:25. Still to come.
We're following a fatal accident on I-75 South this morning. We'll explain what happened coming up next.
A park destroyed in the 2019 Memorial Day tornadoes now getting some new roots. Just ahead, Abby Forbes shares the inspirational story behind these new trees.
But first, here's Julie Moran with America Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Naki.
I just love my KeySmart Smart Card, and you will never lose your wallet or anything that you value again with KeySmart. And I love that it's as thin as 2 credit cards, so you can put it anywhere. Like if it works for you, put it in your wallet. You can put it in your briefcase. You can put it in a suitcase or a backpack or anything of value that you don't want to lose. Now, say if I drop my wallet in a parking lot, which I've done, I will hear a ringtone once I'm 200 feet away on my phone. And also, if you don't hear it, you'll get an alert on your phone that you've left it behind, and you'll get the exact location. And the smart card uses the Find My iPhone app. It's so easy to set up, and that connects you. And I love that you only have to charge this once a year. The charge lasts for an entire year, so you don't have to keep taking it out and recharging it and redoing it. Well, once I threw my wallet in a garbage can, and if I had had KeySmart, I'd have known where my wallet was before the garbage truck came and it took my wallet away. Then I had to get new credit cards, new license, all of that. It was terrible. Well, right now we're offering 25% off on the KeySmart Smart Card, so we want you to head over to asadeals.com for this absolutely, I just love this, amazing exclusive offer right now.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. This weekend, the UK celebrated Guy Fawkes Night with parades and fireworks. The night celebrates the failed attempt to blow up Parliament on the 5th of November, 1605.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Nope.
You ever seen V for Vendetta? The movie?
I don't know.
You haven't? This is like the whole plot of the V for Vendetta movie.
I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
If I
You know
see-
the V for Vendetta mask, the white mask with like the mustache guy?
Yes.
Yes, that's from that movie.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
I need to
Alex,
look it up.
you have not lived.
I need to trigger my memory.
Okay, the Denver Nuggets had to repaint the court before the game on Friday. Someone wrongly measured the three-point line. Oh my.
Oh my.
Players said it felt slightly off during the morning practice.
That's embarrassing. You have one job.
Yeah. That would stink. I mean,
That would be mean. I would do that for sure.
I'd be like, oh, I used to do ball field maintenance, so I would do the lines for the baseball fields, yeah.
That's fun.
I know. A little fun fact about Nathan on this
Interesting.
Monday morning.
You've done it all.
Yeah.
After 34 years, Homer will no longer be strangling Bart on The Simpsons. In a new episode, Homer said he doesn't do that anymore, adding, quote, "Times have changed." Well, that's
I mean, I get it.
good.
I mean, I
Growing.
get why Homer did it, but like, I mean, he's right though. Times have changed, and we can no longer strangle our children. Not that we do, but you know, some people might.
It's best not to strangle your
In
children.
case you needed that PSA this morning, here we go. Thank you,
Don't do
Homer.
it.
Thank you, Homer, a fictional cartoon character, for telling us the way the
Teaching
parent.
people to grow.
That's right.
This morning, part of I-75 South was closed in Harrison Township due to a deadly crash. At least one person is dead, and there still is one lane that remains closed.
It happened near Timber Lane. Melina Brown's out there live now with details. Melina, what do we know so far?
Well, as you just mentioned, we did confirm with Montgomery County Dispatch that one person did die this morning as a result of an accident on the highway. As you can see behind me, one lane is still closed. When I arrived here earlier, there was a truck that they are down by at now that appeared maybe it was a part of the accident. There was also 2 other vehicles that were off the side of the road. It appears right now they're maybe trying to tow this truck off of the road. We do know the coroner arrived on scene just after 5 a.m. It was active. There was a lot of sheriffs on scene. They were taking pictures, but within the hour they did get it cleared up, and now the road is semi back open, so people are able to travel and no longer getting diverted off the highway. We are still working to learn from those on the scene what exactly happened here this morning, how the accident was caused, and what they know. Clearly, it's an investigation that might take some time, but we will work to get that information. But it's also an important reminder right now, if you are traveling down 75 north or south, this is heavily constructed area. There's all kinds of work zone posted signs, so it's important to stay off your phone as you're driving. We know that is now a law in Ohio. You can get pulled over and fined just for being on your phone. And there's going to be slowdowns. There's going to be people trying to maneuver. So it's really important to keep your eyes solely focused on the road, especially through these heavily constructed work zones. So that's what we know right now. We're going to continue to try to learn more information this morning, and we'll bring you updates here on air and online. Back to you.
Good morning. If you are putting the kids on a bus, temperatures around 40 degrees, upper 30s, maybe even mid 30s, depending on where you are here at the next hour or two. We do expect these temperatures to bounce into the upper 40s, and then from there should be in the mid 50s by the time we get towards 11. One thing that has become abundantly clear is it is going to be a true mix of clouds and clear skies. We will likely see this not just through the morning, but into the afternoon, although by let's say late afternoon, evening, it will become progressively more cloudy. So again, a true mix or sun of clouds this morning. Just a reminder, we are on social media, so go there, hang out with us on the Facebook, Instagram, and the X. I have your latest weather forecast. Plus, of course, we've got your poll question. And if you are traveling, again, the biggest issue was I-75 South at Needmore. The good news is the backlog has begun to lessen. So we were originally concerned if it was, let's say, closed for another half hour, that it would have backlogged not only the Benchwood, but the 70 and 75. Doesn't seem like that's happening, although, again, it is slow near Needmore. 70 and 75 seems to be in good order. The only other incident this morning over by Taywood and Wenger Road.
The war in the Middle East rages on as number of casualties keeps rising. Local hospital officials report dozens of deaths in a Gaza Strip refugee camp over the weekend. Now the United States is advocating for humanitarian pauses in the war to allow aid to enter the ravaged areas. The Palestinian Ministry of Health says Israeli attacks on Gaza killed more than 9,700 people in the past few weeks. Just yesterday, the Israeli military said its soldiers are now expanding ground operations to locations along the Gaza coast. This video shows some of the explosions and flares in the Gaza Strip. As of yesterday, the Israeli military began a large-scale airstrike in the area, targeting Hamas militants and senior commanders.
This is not the outcome that we had hoped for, that we had prayed for, but we knew going in that this was a very grim and very difficult situation.
After days of searching, crews finally found the bodies of 2 workers trapped in a collapsed building in Kentucky. Here's video from the scene. The more than 10-story building at the Martin Mine prep plant collapsed last Tuesday. Crews found the bodies over the weekend. Martin County Sheriff John Kirk says the building hasn't been used for years, and the 2 men were salvaging material when it collapsed.
A park destroyed in the 2019 Memorial Day tornadoes now getting some new routes. Abby Forbes spoke with Harrison Township leaders and shares details on the new Operation 2000 Cherry Tree Project.
Township and project leaders are partnering to plant 10 cherry trees at Sinclair Park. People of all ages gathered Sunday afternoon and got to work. This park was heavily damaged by the Memorial Day tornadoes in 2019. They lost a lot of trees and are still working to fix up the area years later. The township is excited to bring new life to the area through this new project.
It actually took us 2 or 3 days to get here following the impact of those tornadoes, and that was kind of like the first thing that was actually said was that we'll have to rebuild the park and things of this nature.
Not only do the trees planted help bring life to the park, but they also help the Operation Cherry Tree Project keep moving forward. If you're interested in donating your time or money to help with the Operation 2000 Cherry Tree Project, you can find more information on our website at Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Pizza lovers, get ready. Cincinnati Pizza Week starts today. Participating restaurants are offering $10 pizzas now through Sunday. It includes favorites like Goodfellas, Strong's Brick Oven, and Mikey's Late Night Slice, just to name a few. You can download the official Pizza Week app from your app store for a chance to win prizes, including $300 in gift cards.
Our time right now is 6:38. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Seattle got soaked by showers plus an atmospheric river Saturday. More than an inch of rainfall flooded some roads, basements, and yards. Also in the Pacific Northwest, the Oregon coast captured at low tide. And bears are preparing for hibernation. This one snagged a fish from California's Taylor Creek near Lake Tahoe.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
It is time to step outside here at the Watson's Weather Patio, and I can't really tell. It's the time of night where if you look one direction, it does look clear, and then if you look another, it looks a little bit more, not even cloudy, but just a little bit of a haze. And I think that's just due to the fact that we haven't quite gotten to the point where the sun has risen far enough. Now, that being said, I do like to point out it is chilly outside, but not especially cold. We do have a very light wind for right now, but that wind will likely pick up here over the next few hours. So what I do expect is there to be a period, let's say 8, 9 this morning, where if the winds start to pick up, that it could become a little bit cooler feeling outside. But for right now, it seems to be about where it's going to be. I do expect today to be a mix of sun and clouds. But for now, though, we do have some sunshine here over Miamisburg.
Good morning, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. Just a few hours to go now until the official return of college basketball. Regular season games start tonight, including the season opener for the University of Dayton men. The Flyers will face an opponent from the Ohio Valley Conference in SIU Edwardsville. This year's UD squad with a mix of returning players, including Deron Holmes II, but there are also many new faces, both true freshmen and those who transferred from other Division I schools. And for those in their first year with the Flyers, it's been a smooth transition getting to know their new teammates. They believe that will help the team not just tonight, but throughout the season.
With all the time that we spent, in Europe and even off the court, in the dorms or just with each other, the returning guys and the new guys, we just kind of click well together. So I think you can see that on the court, and everybody likes being with each other.
Going to Europe in the summer really helped us mesh together. Us being able to play together, share experiences is going to be one of the reasons why this team is really good with team chemistry and stuff like that.
So SIU Edwardsville tonight, and then the Flyers will have a second game later this week when they go to Chicago on Friday night to face the Northwestern Wildcats. That's a look at sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Our time right now is 6:44. What's every parent's favorite Christmas carol? Silent Night. Just ahead, why Mariah Carey is facing a lawsuit for her beloved Christmas song.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. Here's what it looks like right for now in the Dayton area. A lot of clear skies, but we do have at least some clouds around the area. In the meantime, those clouds played a pretty big role in terms of temperature. Where it has cleared and remained clear, we have these temperatures that right now are 32 in Middletown, 34 in Troy, 37 in Richmond, 39 in Urbana. But then you have a string of 40s, including Wapakoneta, Greenville, Eaton, Wilmington. Wilmington, in fact, has been the warmest spot throughout the morning and has stayed pretty consistently in that low to mid 40 range. Wind speeds right now about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and out the door today we should be upper 60s with a mix of sun and clouds. Do think as we get into tonight, temperatures will drop down into the mid 50s. We're going to go ahead and call it partly to mostly cloudy. It will likely be a day where we start out with some clouds, get a couple breaks during the afternoon and evening for tomorrow, and actually set up the stage for 3 straight days of above average temperature by about, let's say, 10 to 15 degrees, depending on how warm we could get Wednesday and maybe even how warm we could get today. The actual air mass is pretty warm. It's just the clouds that really are going to kind of provide a damper on things getting too toasty. We'll fall all the way back in the low 50s as we get into the weekend. So enjoy the mild weather while it lasts, which is just the next few days. On the roads this morning, here's what we're looking at. I-75 South, of course, at Needmore did have that earlier incident. There still may be one lane blocked. And over by Benchwood, we do have that one emergency official there in the right lane. So not quite sure what's going on there. Obviously, that's in the shoulder. So at least at this point, it's not blocking traffic. But again, give yourself plenty of extra time. There's still plenty of activity over by that Benchwood Needmore Road area on I-75 South.
All I want for Christmas is to stop getting sued. Mariah Carey faces yet another lawsuit from country singer Andy Stone over her 1994 holiday hit, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Now, Stone says he put out the hit in 1989 with Vance and Atlantis. That version became a hit in 1993. Stone previously sued in 2022, but withdrew the suit. It alleges Carey and her co-writer copied Stone's version.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You hear these types of, debates going on all the time. Marvin Gaye's family is historically, popular for suing artists for stealing his songs, per se.
So here's the question, though. Where do you rank it now that she's getting sued? Is it still the #1 Christmas song of all time?
I don't think she'll let us have it any other way. I mean,
Yeah, it'll still be her song.
And I have to say, it's probably the last truly great song that has broken through in Christmas time. There's not another one in the last, 30 years that has actually been just other than a repeat.
You know what that means? That means we're due.
Oh, no.
We are due.
We are. We really are.
Our time right now is 6:52, still to come this morning. Taking a look over the Gem City thanks to Skycam. Sorry, Alex, a beautiful start to the day. First Financial Office kicking off its food drive right here in the Miami Valley. Coming up where you can make donations for a good cause. Continuing to follow a deadly crash on I-75 this morning. Part of I-75 shut down for hours after a person died in a construction zone.
Melena Brown is there live talking about roadway safety and in construction zones. Melena?
That is absolutely correct, Alex. We really want to focus on the importance of being safe out on our roads. So again, we did confirm with Montgomery County Dispatch that one person did die this morning right here in this area of 75 South. When we arrived on scene, there were 3 vehicles that looked like they may have been involved in an accident. They are now cleared off the road. But what we really want to focus on this morning is, as you can see, there is construction on the middle lane. So I-75 South is open, I-75 North is open, but in between is construction. And a lot of times that's going to cause slowdowns throughout the day. It's going to be a little bit distracting for people. So what you really don't want to do is be on your phone. We know it's now a law. You can get pulled over, you can get fined for being on your cellular device. So when you're going through these construction zones or any really active, busy area of these busy highways, you want to give your full attention to the road because people are going to be changing lanes quickly. There could be construction. So just really focus on the road to hopefully prevent any more accidents like we saw this morning. Back to you.
This morning, police in Xenia looking for an armed robbery suspect that sent one person to the hospital. It happened Saturday night at a home on Lexington Avenue. Police say 2 men broke into the house just after 10. The homeowner says he confronted them. That's when police say the intruders shot him. He told police the men stole some items before running away. Now Xenia police are still looking for the suspects. Officers say the victim describes the suspects as 2 black men, each 5'10". One wore a blue Nike jumpsuit. The other had on a black hoodie and dark pants. If you know any information about the shooting or where the suspects could be, call Xenia police right away. You can call the criminal investigation section or the tip line. Both numbers are on your screen right now. And this morning at 9, the murder trial for Deontay Holden is scheduled to begin in Dayton. The 32-year-old is accused of shooting and killing 2 women at a gas station back in February. He faces multiple charges, including murder and felonious assault.
First Financial Bank is kicking off its food drive today. From now until November 17th, you can drop off canned goods at any First Financial office in the Miami Valley during business hours. Those locations are on your screen now. That includes in Dayton, Huber Heights, Kettering, and others. This is the 2nd year for the food drive. Last year's drive collected over 7,600 items for people in need in our communities.
The Miami Valley is about to get its 7th YMCA, and you're invited to tour. About 500 people last weekend got a sneak peek at the new building on Salem Avenue. It features a fitness center, gym, and volleyball and basketball courts. It also includes a wellness center where you can get physical therapy, ultrasounds, and more. If you missed out on the tour, don't worry. 2 more rounds are happening November 18th and December 2nd. We've got details on our website, Dayton247now.com. The Premier Health YMCA will open in about a month, and the Wellness Center is scheduled to be complete by the new year.
Dayton Public Schools is searching for its next superintendent. Tonight you can head out to a community meeting to give your input about what you expect in a new leader. That's at Rivers Edge Montessori starting at 5:30. If you can't make it tonight, don't worry. The school is hosting another meeting via Zoom next Wednesday the 15th. That's also at 5:30. The district plans on posting a survey on its social media accounts to get even